Hey, what is up, Baby Pony, and everyone else for that matter, and I'm Rarity here, and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos, in addition to the Sonic's Game Gear Marathon for the likes of Let's Play Tails Adventure for the Sega Game Gear. So last time we managed to go through Lake Rocky twice in a row for that previous episode. In addition to that, we also managed to explore Cabin Island, and also we beat the boss on that level. Even though it might be a little bit difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And also we managed to explore for Green Island. And today for this episode, we're about to continue on and move on to Lake Rocky for a third time in a row, because now we can actually access to these different areas. And speaking of such, you know the anti-air missile that we still got? That means we can actually use that to actually get onto the second screen, or actually the latest screen. I believe it's actually on the third section, but even then though we can't go up there because we've already accomplished that. But even then though we can't actually go on to the third section, so even then though we can actually use the anti-air missile, so that we can actually deal with it that way. And of course I really do apologize of how the fact that, the reason why I haven't uploaded anything yesterday is because, well, multitude of things. That, well, obviously we've now got ourselves our brand new laptop charger, which actually works very, very well this time around, rather than just being loose because it's now practically staying plugged in. So even then though, I'm very glad to have the fact that I've now managed to get myself a brand new laptop charger. So even then though, we can hopefully come back onto the previous, you know, Let's Play departments, even recording sessions as a result too. So even then, I'm glad to know that we're about to come back. So even then, that's the reason why we haven't uploaded anything since yesterday, which was the 25th of August. Because instead, this was usually uploaded in the 26th of August instead. Even though we decided to actually take 2 days delay ever since during the 24th of August. So yeah, that's all I can really say about this point. And the second thing you might actually notice is that, if you probably don't know, I've actually went in cosplay yesterday, and joined in London, MCM, I don't know what the place is called again, but even then, that I've went to the cosplay in London since yesterday, and I managed to dress myself as a Link from the Legend of Zelda series. But even then though, that, as far as I've noticed right off the bat, any audience seems to actually really love it. And I did not meant to go back because enemy is just trying to make me think that go back to where you came from. I feel like a guards or anything like that. So yeah, whenever I managed to go into the cosplay, I actually did really enjoy it, and as far as I can tell, they actually did bring up a whole lot of merchandise, excluding the likes of my favorite franchise, like as usual Mario, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog, The Legend of Zelda, and I'm assuming Metroid series, and some other animes, like for instance Dragon Ball Z, Kingdom Hearts, and especially noticeable in, well, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Because the reason why this is put in a whole bunch of Friendship is Magic stuff is probably because, you know, the old My Little Pony shows is pretty rushed out, and plus it's really dull by comparison. But even then though, I'm kinda glad to actually bring up, you know, Friendship is Magic stuff, because, you know, as far as I can tell, because, it's very popular now, because even then though, yeah. In fact, there's one thing I need to point things out though, is the fact that we only got about 6 weeks left, well, at least expecting for the North American version of My Little Pony the movie, we're about to be launching during sometime during next 6 weeks. Well, 8 weeks for the European countries, or in this case the UK, so there's one thing I need to clarify for that right now. So anyways, we're now going up there because that's why we still managed to get ourselves our anti-air missile with us, so that means we can able to go upwards, even then though, yeah. The annoying part about this particular section though, I find, is those really annoying constant appearance of those dropping mines. So even then though, sometimes they can really throw you off at points, mainly due to the fact that I've got my damage output decreased into 10, because If I would mention that, if you get hit by these little mine drops, then you will lose 5 rings, so even then though you have to watch out for it. So once you reach the top, then you have to dodge annoying, bird enemies that will love to throw you off with these, projectiles at one point. Then once you get to the end, then you actually access to the next level, Lake Crystal, which is a spiritual sequel to Lake Rocky, except a noticeable difference was those that we'll get into that during that time. But first, I'm gonna have to refill my health a bit, because Lake Crystal is pretty tricky, because the reason why I say this is because there's gonna be a lot of obstacles that we need to dodge all the time, you see. So even then though, you see why in just a moment as soon as we jump in. And of course, once we finish this level right here, we can actually pretty much gonna be moving on to the next brand new level we can actually unlock. But even then, yeah, that's what I can gather here for. So and also that judging by the fact that I've now recently equipped myself the extra speed, because extra speed is helpful in this level, because as you can see, we need to actually go for those waterfalls. And also at the same time, we need to dodge a lot of rolling logs, in addition to the Cocoa Army. So, and again, it's very useful to have yourselves a extra speed, because if you don't have extra speed, you won't able to jump high enough into this waterfall. So even then though, it's basically more likely a timing thing, much like how it does it from before. But even then though, that's, you know. So another thing is worth mentioning though, is the fact that we only got about, I would say 3 more days left until, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle coming into Nintendo Switch and everywhere else. Although, except for Japan, because I believe the Japan version of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle will be released until next year. So even then though, it's kind of like it does how the exactly the same thing does from the likes of, you know, Mario Party Island Tour, but at least in, the other countries and all that stuff. Well, at least as far as the European version and the Japanese version, so that's what I can gather. Now, the reason why I say that, you know, this level's pretty tricky for most casual players, because, you know, we're actually going to be coming across into a waterfall sequence here. The only, hazards you need to definitely dodge in this level particularly is actually forms of the logs, as I mentioned earlier, as well as these little battle cocos, so just in case you won't able to actually just to get hit by those idiots. So, yeah, that's all I can really gather here for, and, this level only contains 2 sections, so that's a really cheap move there. I hate to be, perfectly honest. So this second part is actually a lot more trickier than the first part, because, as you can see, we have these birds, annoying, bird enemies makes a return, ever since the likes of how it does it in Lake Rocky, but except the fact that they're usually constantly popping up all over the place. So, my advice for you is that you need to actually, constantly dodging a lot of times if you actually get your timing going, but, hopefully I won't die in this part, because if I do die in that particular level, then I'll have to actually restart the entire game again, which is not that fun. Well, unless if you actually get yourselves a, you know, the password system to actually work this on. So, yeah, that's all I came here for, so, you know. Come on, let's see if I can reach into this waterfall. Come on. Oh, you can't be kidding me. Well, let's try that again. Hopefully we can actually reach it. Hopefully we can. And I believe this is now time to jump. So even then, that, sometimes you have to use the extra speed in order to actually, you know, finish this level. So, you know, you get the idea. And of course the level theme follows the exactly same thing as the introduction cutscene that involves, Tails is going to be boarding onto the submarine. Oh my lord, I'm actually done a luckiest dodge I've ever encountered in my whole entire life. Oh, excluding that log over there, because you don't want to let that log destroy you. So even then though, yeah. But once you pass that, you're now able to actually access to the brand new level to unlock, called Poloy Mountain 2, which is a spiritual sequel to, you know, Poloy Mountain 1. Except a noticeable difference was though is that, I'm gonna go back onto the equipment real quickly. Well, usually just refuel myself, and it's a good thing I managed to actually use my, you know these, items I managed to get from the likes of Green Island called, Night Vision? This is pretty recommendable in this level, because when you start the level off, everything's all in dark. And then in order to actually see everything or what's ahead of you, so you need to only use the night vision at least once, because if you do use it once, then you can't actually use it rapidly. So that's the only one item usage for it. So here we go, on to Poloy Mountain number 2, or part 2, whatever you prefer calling it. You know, typical stuff, except the fact that we're not going to be taking place in the outside part of Poloy Mountain. Instead, it actually takes place in a cavern, more so the magma lava cavern. You know, very similar to the ones in Volcanic Tunnel. So, yeah. Right there, this will get ourselves our item radar. This thing can be kind of useless if you know what the items are, but if you're actually first-time casual players who actually come experience on this game, this is pretty recommendable if you're actually trying to find every single item in the game, excluding Chaos Emeralds, as well as those optional ones here and there too. So even then, that you know, some other items are pretty much mandatory in order to actually finish the game, just from the start. So anyways, now we can actually get into the second section. So even then though, we have to come across into a very tricky platforming section coming up, but even then though, that as far as I can see how this is going, you can probably guarantee what I'm talking about. Oh snap! So anyway though, so another thing is worth mentioning though, is the fact that unfortunately though, that since I believe the other toys already mentioned about this during the likes of the other playthroughs ago, that originally we did manage to say about you know, we managed to get ourselves NES Remakes 1 for the likes of Nintendo eShop on Nintendo Wii U. But even then, we can actually do with a Let's Play of a double games, which all consist of NES Remakes 1 and NES Remakes 2. Unfortunately, though, that Let's Play will push back into 2018 because, obviously, Let's Plays needs to be finished. Excluding the likes of Super Mario 3D World, and during that time period, well, and during September, that's if, because eventually that Super Mario Odyssey will almost going to be come towards to release, so yeah, we need to actually get Super Mario 3D World done and over with, just in case we're able to actually let, you know, the other guys decide to actually deal with, you know, Super Mario Odyssey Let's Play coming during next year, so even then though, that will definitely going to be happening. And also another worth mentioning though is the fact that I like to point things out though, that I would like decide to actually go ahead and deal with Sonic 06 Redo Let's Play during this year, so even then no pushing back or anything like that in 2018, so we thought we might actually go ahead and go back into the original release date, but I will decide to actually announce that the Sonic 06 Redo Let's Play will be coming and during at the very end of September sometime. At least as far as it might take a while, so yeah. So the item I'm going to be getting is that it requires Mecha Tails. Sometimes it's quite tricky because the timing on if you try to press the directional pad right, can be a little bit too strict at one point for Mecha Tails to actually go for these tiny gaps. But if you do the strategy like I do, then it will be makes this a little bit easier to actually get towards it for this little gap. And here we got ourselves Fang. Fang the Sniper from Sonic Triple Trouble and Sonic Drift 2. In addition to Sonic the Fighters as well from the arcade machines. So yeah, I'd like to give a rant about the oh, there's only a nitpicking I might add, that there's actually an arcade machine called Sega Sonic the Hedgehog that usually involves around 3 different playable characters, which are essentially Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, in addition to the introductions of Mighty the Armadillo, in addition to Ray the Squirrel. So even then, that is actually pretty cool to actually see these you know, those 3 playable characters to be in the Sonic game after all. But I kinda wish it has that in any other Sonic compilations, most notably in Sonic Gems collection instead of Sonic the Fighters. I mean, I wish I could, but it doesn't seem to happen, so... And same goes for the likes of Knuckles Chaotix, because Knuckles Chaotix is super expensive right now for, you know, the Sega 32X, if you guys lived in Europe or North America at one point, because I think it's probably due to the poor sales of the Sega 32X, in addition to Knuckles Chaotix as well. So, yeah, you get the idea what I'm talking about. So this part is really difficult for some people because all you have to do is basically you have to use the bombs in order to actually create those platforms if you try to jump the timing jump and whatnot. And if you go down, like I did right there, the fire wind can blow you down. So even though that can pretty much guarantee it does fall for me at one point. But as long as you pay attention towards the platforms, you should be fine. But if you made one simple mistake of not creating a platform at all, you're best to say that you have to actually backtrack for a bit and go back to the previous screen, and you will hopefully you can actually go back in here again until the actual platforms themselves will respawn, until when you actually decide to actually try this again, because it'll take you a lot of tries to actually do this right, because, you know, sometimes you get some mistakes and what have you, so, yeah, that could be a bad part for my part, so even then, I feel incredibly bad of how this is happening for most Let's Players. So, yeah, you get the idea. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad and not too hard either. It's just the fact that if you made one simple mistake while actually creating the platforms, then you have to work with these types of adjustments to the throwing of the bombs. So, yeah, that could be a bit of a problematic, mind you. So, anyway though, and yeah, as you can see, I've managed to accidentally destroy that, but that's okay because I can instantly fly over there, and then we can actually bust for these blocks so they become breakable. Doesn't matter what weapons we can actually use, although the only weapon we can only use is the regular bombs from now on. Eventually, when we actually get into the next set of few levels, especially these different sections of the level, we'll able to actually come across into a very, very better bombs upgrade when we get to that in Drain sometime soon. Even now, don't worry, we will get to that. And for Mecha Tails, this is what we need to use, though anyway, much like it does it previously, to get the large bomb. The large bomb is very helpful if you manage to actually decide to finish the whole game, because if you don't grab that item, then you're pretty much still going to be stuck in this game until for the longest amount of time. So, and that was it. That was all the items in during Poloy Mountain 2. So there's no boss, much like how it does it in I would say Green Island, because Green Island doesn't have a boss, and yeah, that's what I can really gather for that one point. In addition to, you know, Lake Crystal, as far as I can see. So, now we can actually go and head out, and actually head on to the revisit level, which I believe we're now going to be going back onto the first level in the game, actually, because, well, you see why as soon as we actually escape from that, level. And of course, if you actually manage to go backtrack to the previous screen, or even especially noticeable if you want to actually revisit to the screen you've already want to go into, you have to constantly need to activate the night vision all the time, so just in case you'll light up the room. So, yeah, that's what I can gather. Freaking hate those bats. They're sometimes really annoying, especially noticeable how the fact that if I was to be, like, you know, super safe by these little crumbling platforms I managed to walk across, but even though sometimes they can be really, really stingy at one point. I must just say this much now. So anyways, now let's go ahead and equip myself I would not be using the night vision, because this is the only time we're going to be using this item, because, you know, Poloy Mountain 2, you're going to be using that all the time. So, yeah, with that fang right there that I've managed to grab earlier ago, what happens was, though, is the fact that you're able to actually get, a lot more rings if you manage to kill, the certain enemies you've already destroyed. But even though that's all I can really describe about, finding the sniper item. So even though it's kind of useful if you're actually trying to get yourself some health back, but still. Now, originally I was just trying to discuss you guys about, I was trying to actually show you guys all the upgrades in the game, but unfortunately, due to the time length, and also that's because of the delay of the 2 days delay from during the Tales Adventure playthrough, then we were not able to do that because we're pretty much almost out of time. So, but don't worry, we can discuss upon these items and what have you. So even then, yeah. And here we are, back into the first level in the game, after a couple amount of minutes or so, or a couple of hours ago, since we're actually first time playing through Tales Adventure. And now since we actually got the Maple bombs, in addition to the other items as well, that means we can actually use those to actually discover even more items, such as for instance, there's one item in here contains Spark. Now, I believe Spark was actually the yet another submarine upgrade, so even then, we'll discuss on that as soon as we actually equip that, until we actually revisit to Lake Rocky for the 4th and the final time as well. Now, the reason why I say that is because, you'll see why in just a moment as soon as we actually get into the next video. Well, not now though, because we just want to keep it as 20 or more or so minutes for the time being. We're not going to make it too short or anything like that. Okay, so no need to worry about the blue spring for now, because now we can actually fly upwards now, so it makes this level a total breeze. So, no need to worry about these little defense outputs or anything else that's desirable. And of course there will be 2 more items to find in this level, and both are going to be most likely going to be focused on is Mecha Tails most likely, because now since we got ourselves Mecha Tails to begin with, we can actually find the last 2 items in Poloy Forest. So the first item was actually goes into this little alcove, and obviously we need to actually activate the Mecha Tails just to begin with, and if you fly towards up here, then we would able to find ourselves Speed Boots. Speed Boots allows you to actually run fast. It might be seems very helpful, but honestly it's kind of useless. Because what happens was though is that obviously you don't able to actually use 2 items at a time. Well, the exactly same 2 items at the same time, because you only have to use only 1 item per use. So and yeah, and also at the same time, you cannot throw the bombs at the same time once you flip the speed boots. So, yeah, it's a little bit nitpicking, but as I say that anyway. And from here, another section that involves Mecha Tails to begin with, and that way we get ourselves the radio. What that allows you to do is the fact that you're able to actually change the background music. It depends on what levels you're actually going to be exploring on. So even then though that it's entirely optional if you want to actually grab that item, but usually I just want to grab it just for the sake of like, you know, getting every single item in this game has to offer. So yeah, you get the idea as every pony and every brownie out there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, since we can't actually go down here this time around because now we got the Maplon bombs to begin with and using those at the same time, how in the world did that enemy just clip for that end of a level there? Okay. I did not expected that, but anyway. And then once we finish that alternate route of Poloy Forest, we actually get into the Poloy Forest, which is essentially the spiritual sequel to Poloy Forest. But I'm not going to do that level just right now, because I'm going to have to end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Tails Adventure. It's the fact that we're moving on to Poloy Forest. And hope we get some more items here. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later fellas and ponies.